The bold and the beautiful, bloodlines, betrayal, and the fall of Steffy Forrester ***, the world of fashion, legacy, and betrayal shakes to its core as a seismic revelation detonates at Forrester Creations. Luna Nozawa is not just the daughter of Poppy Nozawa. She is the illegitimate child of Ridge Forrester, the result of a secret, long-buried one-night stand during his years abroad, a night he thought was forgotten, but one that altered the course of his family forever. The truth doesn't emerge quietly. It rips through the fabric of the Forrester family with violent precision, exposing cracks, lies, and resentments that had been festering beneath designer suits and champagne smiles. What begins as whispered rumors among industry insiders quickly becomes headline news in every tabloid and boardroom. Luna is a Forrester. Not by name, yet, but by blood, and that is enough to shift the balance of power inside the most powerful fashion house in Los Angeles. Steffy Forrester, CEO and legacy daughter, immediately feels the ground shift beneath her feet. Her status, once untouchable, suddenly feels fragile. If Luna is Ridge's daughter, she is also a Forrester heir, and therefore a potential threat. Steffy has spent her life protecting the family empire from outsiders, from rivals, from anyone she saw as less worthy of the name. But what happens when the threat comes from inside the bloodline? The board starts to whisper. Investors start to question. Journalists speculate. The timing couldn't be worse. The company has just emerged from the scandal involving Finn, Steffy's husband, who had been accused, falsely, of betraying the family. That accusation, now debunked, did its damage, but the truth was even more dangerous. The DNA results that proved Finn's betrayal? Faked. Altered. Deliberately falsified by someone who wanted to tear the Forresters apart from the inside. As the Forresters rally to uncover the truth, the scope of the deception becomes clearer. Someone wanted chaos. Someone wanted Steffy isolated and paranoid. And that someone, it turns out, is Luna Nozawa. What began as an innocent introduction into the Forrester world was always a lie. Luna didn't come to Los Angeles by accident. She came to claim what was rightfully hers. Raised by Poppy with only whispers of who her real father was, Luna grew up with a bitterness sharpened over years of secrecy and half-truths. Poppy had kept Ridge's name hidden, had protected him, while Luna suffered in silence. When she finally discovered the truth, she vowed to make Ridge pay, and Steffy, his favorite, would be the first to fall. But the shock doesn't stop there. Taylor Hayes, Ridge's ex-wife and Steffy's mother, is devastated when the truth reaches her. The timeline doesn't add up. Ridge and Taylor were still married when Luna was conceived. Another betrayal. Another lie. Taylor had stood by Ridge through heartbreak, through Brooke, through every false promise of fidelity. And now she learns that during a business trip to Europe, Ridge had a fling that created another child. A daughter who now wants to destroy her own blood. Taylor feels the old wounds open again. Not just for her, but for her children. She knows what Luna represents. The destruction of everything she built. And more terrifyingly, she sees in Luna something familiar. That glint of obsession. That thirst for vengeance. Taylor is a psychiatrist. She recognizes the signs, and she's terrified of what Luna is capable of. And she has every right to be. Luna's campaign against Steffy turns darker. No longer content to merely outshine or outperform her half-sister, Luna begins to manipulate, scheme, and sabotage. She leaks internal documents. She stages accidents in the studio. She poisons alliances between Steffy and her most trusted designers. But it's not enough. Luna wants more than Steffy's job. She wants her gone. Completely. Permanently. The breaking point comes when Luna attempts to stage a fatal accident at a runway show. A lighting rig falls, narrowly missing Steffy, thanks to Finn's intervention. Security footage reveals just enough to raise suspicions. And yet Luna denies everything, playing the victim, spinning a story about jealousy and lies. Ridge is torn. His guilt over abandoning Luna eats at him, but he cannot ignore the evidence. Brooke begs him to see reason, but Ridge hesitates. He always does when it comes to his daughters. But Luna's game of shadows doesn't end there. In a twist of fate no one saw coming, Luna uncovers another bombshell buried deep in her mother's journals, a secret so outrageous it threatens to break reality. Luna discovers she has a sister. Not just any sister. A full-blood sister. Same mother. Same father. Another daughter born to Ridge Forrester. The world tilts again. Luna is not Steffy's half-sister. She is her twin. Split at birth. Kept secret to protect reputations, careers, and marriages. While Luna was raised by Poppy, hidden in the shadows of obscurity, Steffy was raised in luxury, legacy, and unconditional love. It was never supposed to be this way. A quiet decision made by Ridge and Taylor in desperation, one child given away to cover up the affair, the other kept to protect their marriage. Poppy was paid to disappear. But she didn't forget. This new truth is too much for Luna. Her revenge turns feral. It's no longer about taking Steffy's life. It's about stealing her identity. Her job. Her family. Her name. She begins showing up in Steffy's clothes. Mimicking her voice. Stealing her calendar invites. Intercepting her emails. Slowly erasing her from within. The line between Luna and Steffy begins to blur, even for those closest to them. Finn is the only one who suspects something deeper is at play, especially after he catches Luna humming a lullaby that only Steffy's late grandmother used to sing. As the walls close in, Steffy is forced to fight back, not just for her life, but for her legacy. With Taylor's help, she delves into her father's past, re-examines old medical records, birth certificates, and discovers the true extent of Ridge's betrayal. Ridge, for all his charm and charisma, is now seen as the architect of this chaos, a man who couldn't control his desires, who shattered multiple lives with one reckless night. His image at Forrester Creations plummets. Meanwhile, Luna spirals further. Her plans grow more dangerous, her logic more twisted. She kidnaps Steffy's daughter, believing the child deserves to grow up with her real mother. It's the final straw. The family rallies. Brooke, Taylor, Finn, and even Hope join forces to confront Luna, who by now is lost in a fantasy where she's already replaced Steffy. A confrontation explodes in the Forrester estate. Steffy corners Luna. The truth is laid bare in front of everyone. DNA confirms the twin theory. But Luna refuses to let go. She pulls a knife. A scuffle ensues. Taylor is wounded trying to protect her daughter. Finn tackles Luna. She is arrested, screaming that she is Steffy, that she is the true heir. The aftermath is a storm of legal battles, psychiatric evaluations, and media frenzy. Ridge steps down from Forrester Creations in shame. Taylor enters therapy again, unable to reconcile the weight of her past choices. Steffy, scarred but unbroken, reclaims her position, not because she wants it, but because she must protect it. And Luna? Locked in a facility, awaiting trial, murmuring to herself the names of the family she was denied. In her mind, the war isn't over. It's just paused. Blood may run deep at Forrester Creations, but betrayal runs deeper. And the sins of the father, in this case, Ridge Forrester, may yet bring the whole empire crashing down. Steffy Forrester had survived many betrayals, but none cut as deep as this one. As the dust settled after Luna's violent breakdown and arrest, Steffy found herself standing in the wreckage of a life built on lies. And at the center of it all was her father, Ridge Forrester. The man she had idolized. The visionary behind Forrester Creations. Her protector, her mentor, her role model. And now, in her eyes, nothing more than a coward who had set fire to everything he claimed to love. She didn't confront him at first. Not after the arrest. Not after the press storm. Not after the emergency board meeting where Ridge quietly resigned, stepping down from his role with a barely audible apology and a shattered expression on his face. He had wanted to disappear, to retreat into shame. But Steffy wouldn't let him off that easily. It wasn't just that he had cheated on Taylor. It wasn't even that he had fathered a child outside their marriage. It was what he had done afterward, the cover-up. The decisions made in secret. The child he abandoned. The woman he paid off. The twin he never told her about. You created a monster, and then you lied to all of us for decades. Steffy spat at him when they finally met face-to-face at the Forrester guest house, now his self-imposed exile. Ridge sat silently, shoulders hunched, hands clasped tightly in front of him. He looked older, smaller, but Steffy had no sympathy left. You were so busy protecting your reputation, you let Luna grow up feeling like a mistake. And now my family has paid the price for your cowardice. Mom was stabbed. My daughter was kidnapped. Do you get it now? I never meant. Stop, Steffy snapped. You never meant to get caught. That's what you mean. Ridge tried to explain. About the pressure. The guilt. The fear that if Taylor found out the truth back then, their already fragile marriage would have ended. That if the public knew, it could have destroyed Forrester Creations. That he believed giving Luna to Poppy, with money and anonymity, was the best thing for everyone. A clean slate. A mistake erased. But Steffy only heard excuses. You destroyed two girls' lives. You gave one everything and the other nothing. And now you want forgiveness just because you regret it. She didn't cry. She didn't flinch. She didn't hug him at the end. She walked out, leaving Ridge to sit in the echo of his silence. At home, things weren't much easier. Taylor was recovering from her wound, both physical and emotional. She avoided Ridge altogether, speaking to him only through lawyers and family intermediaries. She blamed herself, too, for going along with the lie, for not demanding more, for not listening to her instincts when she felt something was off all those years ago. Brooke, too, was torn. She stood by Ridge in public, out of loyalty or perhaps habit, but privately even she admitted this was something different. Something darker. She'd forgiven a lot in her lifetime, but this wasn't just infidelity. This was abandonment, manipulation, gaslighting on a generational scale. Meanwhile, Luna remained in custody, her mental state deteriorating with each passing week. Her lawyers claimed trauma, psychological manipulation, childhood neglect. The public was divided. Some saw her as a victim, others as a threat. Some called for compassion. Others demanded justice. But Steffy couldn't find space for sympathy. Not yet. She was still waking up in cold sweats, still checking on her daughter 3 times a night, still seeing flashbacks of Luna's eyes as she whispered, "I should have been you." And Forrester Creations? The brand survived, but it bled. Several sponsors pulled their contracts. Key buyers paused their orders. The fashion press turned savage. Headlines read like autopsies. The fall of the House of Forrester? Blood on the runway. Family secrets threaten fashion empire. Legacy or liability? Steffy stepped into the fire anyway. She didn't have a choice. With Ridge gone, Thomas abroad, and Hope reeling from her own drama, she was the last one holding the structure up. She rebranded. She cut ties with weak partnerships. She pushed innovation. She hired fresh designers and put her foot down with the board. Slowly, piece by piece, she rebuilt. But the damage inside her didn't heal as fast. She began
Oh.